Chapter 4. The silence stretched. Lan's breathing rasped through the hum of machinery. Zheng watched the countdown on his watch tick forward. Minutes passed in strange half-peace. The corridor lights stayed steady. The air hummed. Somewhere far away, a gunshot echoed, then another, then nothing. Zheng slid down the wall and tried to unclench his hands. His watch sat heavy against his wrist, the countdown digits too bright. Jie crouched near him and held out a pack of cigarettes. Zheng stared. "Where did you get those?" Jie's mouth twitched. "From God." The word landed like a coin into a pond, stirring ripples among them. Zhao Yi leaned forward. "You can exchange for cigarettes?" Jie nodded. "You survive, you get points. You kill, you get points. Then you spend it, like a shop that doesn't care what it sells as long as it gets paid." Zheng took a cigarette with fingers that didn't stop shaking. He didn't light it, just held it, smelling the paper, the tobacco. Something ordinary that had no business existing here. Jie lifted his bangs. The scar, a pale, ropey sea that began under his hairline and hooked the corner of his eye, caught the light. "The system can heal it, but I kept it," he said. His thumb rubbed across the pale line. "Nightmare on Elm Street. We tried to brute force it. Stay awake, rotate watches, drug ourselves, drove 5 days straight trying to outrun the setting. Got there anyway, the town, the street signs. One guy, an experienced survivor, kept smiling, kept telling us it would be fine." Jie's voice softened. He was the demon, waited until we were too exhausted to doubt him. Zheng's mouth went dry. "And he cut us open like we were paper." Zhao Yi clapped a hand over his mouth. "We killed him. Eventually. But not before Jie shook his head once, hard, refusing to name the dead. Afterward, God handed out the reward, 1,000 points. The corridor lights flickered once, so briefly it might have been nothing. Lan's head snapped up. Jie forced his breath out. "Scientific items, magical items, support items, entertainment. 4-item categories. Scientific covers guns, armor, medical kits, anything plausible with today's technology. Magical costs way more and breaks rules. Talismans, enchanted swords, spellbooks." "And enhancements?" Zheng asked. "Support category. The Spider-Man mutation package costs 2,000 points and a rank C reward. With just points you can buy stat points in intelligence, reaction speed, muscle density, all quantified like nutrition facts." He glanced at Zheng. "Worth it if you survive long enough to use it." The corridor lights flickered again. Jie was on his feet before the light stabilized. He moved to the door's reinforced window and peered into the dining hall. At first, Zheng saw nothing but flashes of sterile light and metal. Then something moved in the darkness, low and fast, a wet shadow hugging the floor. A second shadow followed. "What is that?" Shai stepped closer. Jai's hand went up and he pressed a finger to his lips, commanding silence. The shadows surged into the flickering beam of an emergency light. They weren't zombies. They were wrong. Skinless bodies stretched over corded muscle, heads split open into petal-like jaws, long claws ticked against tile. "Lickers," Jai whispered. The first licker reached the blast door and reared, tasting the air. Its tongue flicked out, a slick rope that cut into the metal like a spear. Then it screamed. The sound stabbed straight through Zheng's skull, high, raw, furious. Claws raked the door. Metal shrieked. Zheng's gun felt suddenly too small. The reinforced bolts held, but the impact shuddered through the frame and into the room like an earthquake. Shai stumbled back. "They can't get in, right? The door—" Another slam, another scream. The door flexed. Jai's calm cracked, not into panic, but into something colder. "Everybody back! Into the Red Queen's control room!" They scrambled through the glass hall and into the Red Queen's chamber. Inside, the control room was all clean lines and buried menace. Matte black consoles, layered security housings, and at the center a recessed pedestal where the AI's interface could project its childlike avatar. The walls were thick enough to feel like a bunker. In the adjacent corridor beyond the window, the laser defense system's emitters sat dormant in the ceiling like closed eyes. Jai shut the door behind them. The locking bolt slid home with a series of heavy clicks that sounded too much like finality. The lickers hit the first barrier. Metal shrieked and split. Jung stepped toward the Red Queen's main console with his gun in hand. His mouth tasted like copper. The child avatar of the Red Queen shimmered into existence above the pedestal. Pale face, neat hair, a smile that meant nothing. "You are in violation of safety protocols," the Red Queen said. Her voice was calm, almost gentle. Lan leaned forward, voice like a blade. "Activate the corridor's defenses. Keep the lickers out." "I cannot comply," the Red Queen replied. Jung's fear sharpened into anger so sudden it steadied his hands. He raised the gun not at the avatar but at the armored housing beneath where cables fed into the main circuitry. "If you won't comply," he said, voice shaking only at the edges, "I will destroy your main board. Containment fails either way." The avatar's smile didn't change. "Destruction of the main circuit will result in total system failure." Lan's eyes flashed. She stepped in beside Zheng, close enough that he could feel the heat of her skin through her sleeve. She addressed the AI like a superior officer addressing a machine. "Listen carefully," Lan said. "You are a tool. Tools are replaceable. We are not." The Red Queen's gaze shifted to Lan. For the first time, something like calculation crossed the childlike face. Outside, the licker screamed again, frustrated, hungry, impatient. Zheng kept the gun steady and forced himself not to blink. "You have two choices," he said. "Keep defenses active and we survive, or refuse, and I guarantee you lose everything you were built to protect." The Red Queen paused. "Then external defenses will remain active." Zheng exhaled so hard his lungs hurt. Xiaoyi made a sound halfway between a sob and a laugh. Lan didn't relax, and the doors stay sealed. "Confirmed," the Red Queen said. Outside the control room came a scream of tortured bolts and crash as the door collapsed to the ground. The passage's first door failed. The lights flickered once. For one strobe-lit instant, Zheng saw the corridor through the window. A massive shape clung to the ceiling, red exposed muscle, no skin, no eyes. Easily 3 meters of weaponized biology. Its head swiveled, thermal pits tracking heat. "Don't move," Jia breathed. "Sound and heat. It hunts by sound and heat." But Zheng's lungs burned. His heart pounded loud enough he swore the thing could hear it through the walls. A beam swept across the corridor. The first licker froze mid-charge. Its upper body slid off. Acid blood hissed against walls. Xiaoyi gagged. Zheng felt a hysterical laugh bubble up. "The defenses work." The lights flickered. "No," Lan whispered. The lights died. Total darkness swallowed the room. Zheng's heart hammered against his ribs. He heard breathing, 3 others holding their breath, listening. The Red Queen's monitor stayed dead. "Kaplan shut down the power grid," Zheng whispered. "Just like the movie." "The timer," Jia said. "How long?" Zheng angled his watch toward the faint glow from emergency strips in the corridor. 3 minutes. A sound echoed from beyond the door, claws on metal. "Can it break through?" Xiaoyi hissed. "Maybe. The second licker, it's still out there." The scratching grew closer and then stopped. Silence stretched. Zheng counted heartbeats. 10, 20, 30. Metal shrieked, "It's at the door!" Lan's composure cracked. "It's tearing through! Back wall! Everyone to the back wall, now!" Zheng scrambled backward, hands groping in darkness. His shoulders hit the wall. Lan pressed against him on one side, Xiaoyi on the other. The shrieking metal grew louder. Through it another sound, a wet, sliding noise, like a tongue testing the gap. How long to breach? Minutes, maybe seconds, I don't... The door exploded inward. Emergency lighting flickered. The liquor stood in the doorway, framed by twisted metal. Up close, it was worse than any description. Red muscle glistened over every surface. The elongated skull had no eyes, just thermal pits and a mouth of razor teeth. Its tongue extended, easily a meter long, ridged with bone spurs, tasting the air. The lights died. "Shoot it!" Xiaoyi screamed. Muzzle flashes strobed the darkness. Zheng fired 3 rounds, 4, aiming for center mass. Beside him, Jie's gun barked. Lan squeezed off careful shots. The liquor shrieked. The sound bypassed rational thought and went straight to hindbrain terror. The tongue lashed out. Something wet struck the inner wall. Metal groaned. "We're not hitting it!" Zheng's hands shook too badly to aim. "Aim for the sound! When it moves!" In the muzzle flash, Zheng saw claws punch through the remaining barrier like aluminum foil. The liquor was coming through. "Zheng!" Lan grabbed his arm. "The timer." He couldn't look away from the door, couldn't process anything except the methodical destruction happening 3 meters away. "Zheng!" He jerked his wrist up. 2 minutes! We don't have 2 minutes, Xiaoyi's voice broke. We have seconds. The gap widened. The liquor's skull pushed through. Zheng fired. The gun clicked empty. Jie kept firing, controlled bursts, each one missing in the darkness. The tongue shot through the gap, wrapped around the door's edge and pulled. Metal shrieked. 60 centimeters. Wide enough. "God!" Xiaoyi pressed himself into the corner. "Please!" The tongue retracted. The liquor's head tilted, thermal pits swiveling. "It's listening! Stop talking!" Jie whispered. "Everyone—" The lights flickered once more. The liquor had withdrawn slightly. Its muscles bunched, tendons standing out in sharp relief. It was preparing to charge. Darkness returned. This wasn't how it was supposed to end. He'd survived the laser corridor, fought zombies, earned his survival. And now he was going to die in the dark, torn apart by something that couldn't be reasoned with or escaped. "I don't want to die here." The thought rose with perfect clarity, not strategy, just raw animal desperation. "There has to be something," Lan said. "A weakness." The liquor shrieked. A claw punched through the last barrier and ripped the reinforced metal apart like paper. In the darkness, Zheng and Jie fired, panic and muzzle flashes making it impossible to aim. The liquor threw the torn metal aside and charged.